Crancer here, president of this year's Radiology Business Management Association. By the way, I've got my sync background up if I can figure it out where it's at. We hope to see everybody October 15th through the 17th in Alexandria, Virginia for RBMA Sync. And I am joined today by my good friends and somebody I've known for a long while and something of a mentor to me in radiology, Mr. Kevin McDermott. Kevin, who are you? What do you do? What have you done in radiology? We'd love to hear.
Hi, Kevin McDermott. I'm an Aries. I'm a Cubs fan. But as far as radiology goes, I joined the radiology space back in 2004 when I was like employee number 120 at AIM Specialty Health. Back then, we were called American Imaging Management. And as most of you that have been around it all know, AIM was one of the four foundational radiology benefit managers, RBMs, in the industry. And back then, that's all any of us did was just radiology. Radiology was always the OG guinea pig on prior authorization in the outpatient setting. And that's where I really became a very radiologist-focused career path, because I ended up staying at AIM for 19 years up until about 5 months ago. And so got to know a lot about radiology, and then first got involved with the RBMA through a relationship with your former colleague, now retired Liz Kwong. I think back then, the first year I was at RBMA, I want to say Keith Chu might have been president. Everybody actually welcomed me with open arms, because I always thought it was, a little bit of strange bedfellows having the RBM at the RBMA. But I was proud that all those years, AIM really built foundationally to be provider friendly and to really be transparent and honest and open on how we look at the appropriateness of the clinical appropriateness of outpatient high-tech imaging. And that really got us a lot of goodwill in the market. And we still remain the only RBM that's ever been invited to participate with the RBMA. I've spoken at what's now Paradigm, I don't know, probably half a dozen times.
Yeah.
Another half dozen regional chapter annual meetings I've been invited to speak to. So I've really made a lot of great friends and colleagues through the RBM over the years. And as of this past Paradigm in April, I am now on the board of directors of the RBMA, and proud to help you through your journey here.
Well, we appreciate your service, Kevin, and everything you've done for the industry. Just curious, what made you passionate about radiology? Why radiology? Why is that something that's interested you, that you spent that much time in your career in the field?
Well, to be honest, I didn't so much decide to enter radiology as I decided to join a company that some former colleagues of mine, when we were all together at United Healthcare back in the 90s, invited me to come help them do stuff I was good at, which is managing provider networks and provider relations, and just happened to be a radiology company. So that's where I really and I'd say from 2004 to 2008 or 9, radiology was the only thing we did. So that was 5 years of deep immersion in both the payer perspective of radiology and the benefits management and the payment structure and the configuration of claims, as well as the provider component, as we also had delegated networks. And we actually had statewide radiology networks for multiple payers in 4 states, I want to say, back in those days. And we're actually the delegated payer and provider relations and everything, contracting. And so it was really nuts and bolts all the way through billing, revenue cycle, everything but actual practice management, which is what most of them are actually the RBMA members do. I don't actually have that operational practice management experience on the provider side of the industry. But what I brought value to the RBMA, and I think the folks that invited me had that foresight to invite me, was my deep knowledge of the payer space, the payer policies that influence radiology benefit management and utilization management, and how it was an opportunity for the RBMA to build a bridge between providers and payers to help solve, I don't know if to solve the problem per se, but maybe to break down the barriers, or maybe in a more positive light, to build the bridge that didn't exist back then between the RBMA and the payer community on how to influence and advocate what's best for the practices, while still acknowledging that appropriateness and clinical pertinence and patient safety was foundational to the whole ecosystem.
You know, Kevin, and just to offer you a compliment as well, you know, you in your work, and why I've always loved this, and why I'm happy you're on the board, is you've always looked for that non-zero sum win, right? Where, you know, everybody's able to have, you know, get the ball moved forward for what's right for patients. Curious, last question, while I've got you here though, do you have a life motto? Do you have something that you've always relied upon? Do you have something that that you, or a nugget of wisdom that you'd like to share with the group, given your experience in the professional world?
You know, I live a fun life, I would say. People that follow me on social media are always kind of like, "Do you ever sleep, or do you ever, you know, who haven't you met?" But my motto is, "Life is best lived." I say that to people when they make those comments, like, you know, I could have stayed home and watched TV. I could have done something else. But anytime there's an opportunity to travel somewhere, to go see a show, to go meet folks for dinner or drinks or whatever, I always find I don't really regret going, but I often regret not going. Or I never regret doing it, but sometimes I regret not doing it. And you know, I'm not gonna live with the regrets, and it's just so fun, and I think healthy, honestly, to stay active, even if it's even if it involves eating and drinking, as long as you're doing it in, you know, in moderation. I really have a lot of stories that I like to share when people ask. On my, you know, I'm very deep in music knowledge, I'm very deep in wine knowledge, and I'm very deep in travel knowledge. And those three things tend to find commonality in just about every human on the planet, one of the three at least. So,
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time. We all look forward to an early exit if the Cubs make the postseason, and hopefully the Bears have another losing record. Thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it, and we will all see you at Sync if I can figure it out.
thank you in October in Virginia. We'll see you there.
All right, see you guys.